One day, sooner than you think, everything you love will be gone, including you. That thought terrifies most people, but to Marcus Aurelius, it was the key to strength, peace, and even freedom. He didn't run from suffering, he faced it, and wrote down 7 brutal truths about why we suffer and how to stop being broken by it. Truth 1. Pain doesn't come from life. It comes from your judgment of life. Picture Marcus Aurelius in his tent on a battlefield. Rain is soaking the ground, mud swallowing soldiers' boots, sickness spreading among the men. He's emperor, but he's also just a man, exhausted, grieving his children, watching the empire strain under its own weight. Now here's the question Marcus asked himself. Is it the mud that tortures me, or my opinion of the mud? Because the truth is, pain doesn't come neatly packaged from the outside world. It's filtered, shaped, magnified by the way we interpret it. A single event can fracture people into completely different realities. A storm hits. The farmer thanks the heavens. The traveler curses the skies. The child sees a chance to play in puddles. Same storm. 3 different worlds. Marcus wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." It sounds simple, but here's the brutal part. Most of us never revoke that judgment. We don't suffer the event. We suffer the memory of it, replayed endlessly. The insult echoes louder than the words themselves. The loss lives longer in our minds than in reality. We cling, we narrate, we drag the story behind us for years. And so Marcus's first truth cuts deep. Reality rarely destroys us. Our opinions about reality do. Truth 2. Life is suffering, but not in the way you think. If the first truth tells us that pain isn't in events themselves, but in our judgment of them, the second truth strikes even harder. Suffering is built into life. Not because the universe is cruel, but because growth demands it. Marcus Aurelius lived with this every day. He buried more children than most of us can bear to imagine. He fought endless wars he didn't choose. He carried the weight of a collapsing empire on shoulders that sometimes wanted nothing more than rest. And yet, instead of asking, "Why me?" he turned the question upside down. Why not me? Because suffering isn't some mistake in the design. It is the design. Every living thing pays a price. The tree grows strong because the wind beats it. The body hardens because the weights resist it. The soul matures because heartbreak cracks it open. Here's where this ties back to the first truth. If judgment creates pain, then suffering creates the chance to reshape judgment. The hardship itself is neutral. It's the meaning we wrestle from it that matters. Think of the last time life broke your rhythm. Maybe you lost someone, or someone betrayed you, or you faced a failure so sharp it burned through your confidence. In that moment, it's easy to believe life is against you. But Marcus would say, no, life is simply being life. The pain is real, but it is also a teacher. Don't curse it. Learn from it. This doesn't mean glamorizing suffering. It doesn't mean pretending grief is beautiful when your heart is split in 2. What it means is this: if pain is inevitable, then meaning is our only defense. And the human being who can take their wounds and forge them into wisdom, that person is unbreakable. So if the first truth taught us that pain begins in judgment, the second truth tells us this: you will face pain regardless. But whether that pain becomes endless suffering or silent strength, that's your choice. Truth 3. Control is an illusion, except for the one thing that matters. If suffering is unavoidable, then our instinct is to fight it by controlling everything around us. That's what most people do. They chase security, try to bend people to their will, obsess over outcomes. But Marcus was blunt about this. Almost everything is beyond your control. Empires collapse, friends betray, health vanishes. One letter, one storm, one accident, and the life you thought you owned dissolves like smoke. Here's the paradox. The harder you grip, the more fragile you feel. That need for control is just another form of fear, another mask we wear against chaos. So what do? You stop trying to hold the river still. You let it flow, and then you realize there's exactly one thing you can command: your response, your choices, your inner state. And since you can't control life itself, your power lies in governing yourself. Imagine two soldiers on the same battlefield. One is cursing the mud, the rain, the unfair orders. The other is silent, steady, focused only on his duty. Both face the same chaos, but one is broken while the other is unshaken. Why? Because one clung to what he couldn't own. The other held fast only to what he could. Control isn't freedom. Letting go of control is. Truth 4. Character is fate. And here's where the path gets sharper. If your only true control is over yourself, then who you are becomes your destiny. Marcus Aurelius put it simply: a man's life is dyed by the color of his thoughts. You can't outrun your inner world. Your habits, your values, your choices, they build your character brick by brick, and that character will decide your future more than luck, talent, or circumstance ever could. History proves this. Empires rise and fall, but it's the character of their leaders that seals their fate. A coward on the throne ruins nations. A steady hand can hold them together. On a personal level, the same is true. You've seen it. The friend who keeps choosing the easy lie over the hard truth until dishonesty corrodes everything. The colleague who avoids responsibility until their life is one long chain of excuses. The person who seeks comfort in every moment, only to find themselves weak when life finally demands strength. Character isn't just morality, it's survival. It's your shield against chaos. It's the one thing the storms of life can't take from you, unless you give it away. Marcus knew this wasn't abstract philosophy. It was life or death wisdom. Because when the empire trembled, when the plagues came, when the wars never ended, all he had left was himself. And that was enough. Truth 5. The chase for desire makes you restless. Marcus Aurelius lived in the center of everything people still chase today: wealth, luxury, status, endless pleasures. Rome could give him anything, and yet he saw how dangerous that was. Because every pleasure has a shadow. The first taste feels sweet. The second feels necessary. The third makes you anxious without it. And soon, what once felt like freedom starts to feel like slavery. Think about your own life. The scroll on your phone says, just 5 more minutes. The praise you got last week whispers, don't let them forget you. The comfort you enjoy warns, don't lose me. That's how desire tricks us. It promises joy, but it delivers chains. You don't control it. It controls you. Marcus warned himself daily. If you need something outside yourself to feel whole, you've already surrendered your freedom. And here's the brutal truth. It's not the lack of desire that hurts us. It's the endless chasing, the restless cycle of, when I get this, then I'll be happy, only to find happiness slipping away again. The cure isn't to kill desire. It's to see it clearly, to stop mistaking the bait for freedom. Because when you finally stop being pulled around by every craving, you discover a deeper kind of peace. The kind no pleasure can buy and no loss can take away. Truth 6. Comparison is the thief of peace. Marcus Aurelius ruled the largest empire in the world, yet even he wasn't immune to envy. Other generals had more victories. Other emperors were remembered as greater. Other philosophers wrote words that spread faster than his. But here's what he realized. The moment you measure your life against someone else's, you've already lost. Because comparison has no finish line. There will always be someone richer, stronger, smarter, more admired. And if your worth depends on outrunning everyone else, you'll never rest. You'll spend your whole life sprinting toward a prize that keeps moving further away. Sound familiar? You open your phone and scroll. Suddenly, your own life feels smaller. Someone's traveling, someone's buying, someone's succeeding, and your peace evaporates. Marcus warned, envy doesn't punish the other person. It punishes you. They go on with their life. You're the one left restless, bitter, unsatisfied with what you already have. And here's the brutal truth. Comparison blinds you to the only life you'll ever actually live. Your own. Marcus reminded himself daily. Don't waste time wondering what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, stop measuring. Stop chasing shadows. Put your energy into shaping your own soul. Because peace doesn't come from winning against others. It comes from no longer needing to. Truth 7. Remember, you will die. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man on earth. He could command armies, build cities, shape history. And yet, night after night, he whispered to himself the same reminder. You could leave life right now. Why would an emperor, with everything in his hands, remind himself of death? Because he knew the greatest lie we live under is that we have time. That lie makes us careless. We waste days on anger that doesn't matter. We chase possessions that won't follow us to the grave. We treat life like a rehearsal, always waiting for the real show to begin. But there is no rehearsal. This is it. Every sunrise is one less you'll see. Every conversation could be the last. Every moment is slipping through your fingers, whether you notice it or not. And here's the brutal truth Marcus leaves us with. Death is not the enemy. Forgetting death is. Because when you forget you're mortal, you drift. But when you remember, life sharpens. Suddenly, the small stuff disappears. The important things, courage, love, truth, stand out in blazing clarity. So the question isn't if death will come, it's certain. The only real question is this: when it does, will you have truly lived or just existed?